All right, so I accidentally converted my Warbringer into a Templar of sorts. He has like Zealot's Oath and Energy Shield and stuff now. And I tried to do that last patch when I was complaining about armor. I was really trying to show that armor needed some work. Otherwise, Druid and Templar would be dead on arrival. And luckily, with the changes they made, it is in such a better condition now that I could go hybrid armor with energy shield on my Warbringer to increase my life pool, and it actually improved my build. And it allowed me to work with some of the items that I was finding. Very cool. Let's go. Here we go.
Remember this day. You survive.
I missed. I couldn't see him. Oh, he's phasing. I phased him. Whoops. Okay.
I am the true Nakulamagui. Remember this day.
So that was the rolling slam without the hammer. Right there.
Lend me your strength, Tokuhama.
This is a pretty lengthy. Is he? Yeah, okay. Oh. Alright, so I can use my Jade right now. Okay. Yeah, that was good. Look, his character model's over here T-posing. So I phased him with just the rolling slam without even using the hammer. And then at the end there, I hit him, and then the totems just kept hitting him with the hammer spirals, and that's what took him out. So it was a one rotation kill.
Destruction.
Almost did it. There we go. I should have just summoned a couple more totems, and it would have all smoothly just killed him in one rotation, I think. Or it would have looked like that at least. But that was fine. That was good. Oh, I forgot to do the... I missed him that time. Nice leap attack to end it. So I can throw the totems down, hit a fissure, encase in Jade to make sure I can tank a hit if I have to. And then we'll do the hammer and the rolling slam. So here we go. Totems. Oh, fissure, this, this, and then I can go like that, and they're dead. I didn't even do it like perfectly because she kind of moved. All right, so here he is. We got a quarterstaff on swap with shattering palm, and then we are still using our totems with the fissures. So the shattering palm does help with our clear a bit, and it does make the gameplay a bit more enjoyable for me to like be able to zip to the next target like that. And then it's just another option besides using leap slam. So the reason I said this Warbringer is kind of like a Templar now is because we're using some armor and energy shield type stuff, as well as we did grab Zealot's Oath over here for the regeneration, applying to energy shield once our life is full. And our life is full pretty easily with our leech, with our time of need that we have that replenishes our life. And so because we have some energy shield on like our helmet, our boots, and then we are using the Grand Regalia, just because it does give us nice amount of stats, some chaos res, some regen as well. I could take nodes like this where defend with 120% of armor while not on low energy shield. That's really good, man. Like that's like really good. That's as good as something like defend with 200% armor against critical hits. You know. So I took that, grabbed this one for increased armor and energy shield from equipped body armor, and then I went all the way down and got iron reflexes to convert evasion rating to armor, so that the evasion rating on this ring and the evasion rating on my Grand Regalia now become armor. So that is pretty nice, I'd say. Uh, Armor applies to elemental on the helmet, on the gloves, on the boots. We anointed this one here. Took a node here for some more of that. Took a bunch of these nodes for more of that. Elemental applies as well. And I did find a time lost in the Sekima trial when I was doing it with my other character, the Horde companion character, the hybrid witch hunter that has the minions, you know. If you saw that video, you can check that one out. And I found this, and this ended up being perfect for this build because I'm doing armor break with fissures, and this is so good. It made me so strong. I one-shot bosses and everything pretty much. So small passive skills and radius grant 4% increased damage against enemies with fully broken armor. And then I get regen for notable passives and stun buildup for notable passives, which is also good for this build because I'm using regen and I'm using stun to stun bosses and stuff. So the other jewels I got also have some like increased armor. Here's some rage, here's some leech, here's some attack damage, and then this one has increased damage with fully broken armor with rage, 2% strength, attack damage. This one also has 24% increased damage against enemies with fully broken armor, and empowered attack steal 17%, plus 1 to max fire res. That's pretty good. So we got some nice jewels here that really buff our damage and our defenses. So pretty awesome. Win-win all around there. I crafted some stuff. I've got a staff here, plus 6 to all attack skills, 111 elemental, with a nice roll on some flat physical, flat cold, reduced attribute requirements necessary for this build because we don't have the strength, or I mean, sorry, we don't have the dex and the intelligence and stuff otherwise. So needed that. And then I got 2 weapons that I finally crafted, got away from the two-hander that I was using, and now I have 2 one-hander crown maces. And I put sockets in them for Pharaoh's Rune of the Hunt. So that's 50% increased attack damage against rare or unique enemies. I put one in each of those. And then this rolled really nice on the flat physical and the percentage physical. So this one's got 167, you can see, with 23 to 35. This one has 135 with 19 to 34. And then this only rolled 2 to melee skills, but this one rolled 4 to all attack skills. And the desecration is empowered attack steal, 42% increased damage. All of our attacks are pretty much empowered. I've got ancestrally boosted attacks on a bunch of my stuff. I took the nodes down here for ancestrally boosted stuff. I'm Warbringer, you know, so I can have unlimited war cries for infernal cry. So everything I can do is empowered you know? So that's a nice hunk of damage there. Life Leech is huge on that. Mana Leech on this as well. And then we have Life Leech on this and Mana Leech on this. So our Life and Mana Leech on physical stuff is really good. This other one, like I said, has the 2 to level of all melee skills with the increased stun buildup. So we've got all our bases covered. That's what I'm trying to say. Between these 2 weapons, man, we're just getting out huge damage and survivability. Tempered defenses is allocated up here on the amulet. We've got energy shield, increased armor, energy shield, all attributes, intelligence, all resistances. Just like a really, really solid defensive amulet. Unset ring, so we can use shattering palm, double flat, all res, life leech. I crafted this really, really nice chaos resistant ring. So it's got a ton of chaos res, 12 implicit, 23 on the roll, and then 19 lightning and chaos with the lightning modifiers that I put in there, so that I could get a little bit more flat lightning damage, and it has a rarity on it. And the evasion, like I said, actually goes to armor because of iron reflexes. So anyway, I'm using weapon swap as well. So when I'm using this quarterstaff, I'm using shattering palm, but I'm also spec'd into the totems for their placement speed, +1 as well for totems. So I can get 1, 2, 3, 4 out. And those buffs give me some nice stuff, because if you look at the Warbringer Ascendancy, we have Ancestral Spirits. So the spirits, they'll give you like 50% increased damage. They'll give you attack speed. They'll give you defenses. They'll give you block chance. Like, there's so many good things that they can give you. And then I supported those guys with just like blind, more damage on low life, attack speed, AoE, and then +1 minions. It seems to be fine. So our defenses, like I said, our life pool was a little bit small when I was pure life, you know? And so I switched over to all this other stuff, and now I have 1800 energy shield with 1998 life. And my regen is not crazy or anything, but if I use this and get Holy Descent and I'm moving, I have 238 regen per second. And that seems to be like just good enough for keeping my energy shield up and everything. We can Infernal Cry as much as we want because we're Warbringer. So for one-shotting things, it's basically like you want to do the totems. I put a fissure. The fissure will break the boss's armor because we have this Uruk smelting for 70% more armor break. Okay, so if we do totems, fissure, war cry, hammer, war cry, and then we do rolling slam. All right. And the boss takes so much damage from our empowered attacks as well as the broken armor, that because I have all of this stuff applying to that. Plus, we have the runes in here that do more damage to them. It's very, very, very powerful. So rolling slam, we have close combat 2, Rigwald's Ferocity in the second weapon slot for more damage. Aftershock. So if they don't die from that and it just happens to go again, that'll hit them twice. And then I have Fist of War 3. Since I'm only using this when I encounter a really tough rare or the boss, not being able to use it more than every 14 seconds is fine. And then I'm using Ambrosia, and I've got a mana flask with 115 charges. So Ambrosia gives you extra lightning damage. You gain as extra lightning damage depending on how many charges you have, and it uses charges from the mana flask, and it's really powerful. So, yep, it's an insanely effective way to kill bosses. Forge Hammer, of course, is ignoring fire res and all that, and then we are even getting even more damage out of our fire damage from things because of things like Molten One's Gift. So fully broken armor effects apply to fire damage taken from hits. So we're just stomping the bosses. Okay. So here's irradiated cleanse ritual powerful map boss with ignited ground on the waystone, and I put a couple tablets for empowers the map boss, and ritual altars. We do have maxed out chaos res on this build, so ritual's fine. Alrighty, here we go. So totems, fissure, you can Warcry, I can shattering palm, and it's just like chaos, you know. If you're wondering what the dodge roll is that I'm doing, it's actually a MTX that they launched. Like, I don't know if anyone even knew about it, really. I'm also using just like the basic attack, and it's fine. So on my shattering palm, I have some freeze buildup, and then I have armor explosion on Herald of Ice, actually. And so if I can freeze and Herald of Ice goes off, I will actually explode their armor, and there is a chance that it could chain like that. I'm not completely spec'd into doing something like that, but it does work, I notice sometimes. Here's the ritual. Let's do that. I mean, I'm just like war crying, decimating the screen all the time. Where's the guy? Jump to him. I'm stuck in the tornado. Here we go. I wasn't taking any damage. There, see, like that? It did kind of chain like that. That was pretty good. There's another example of it. And I can set off all those just like that as well. Enemies that explode too, because the Warbringer Ascendancy's Warcry will explode the corpse and it won't hurt you then, which is also really nice quality of life and survivability. But yeah, basically I can have an empowered attack for every attack if I really want, like that. Let's do the other ritual. So I'll put out 4. So I don't know if you can tell, but there's just a lot happening, right? The armor break is very satisfying. I really like it. Look, that was sick. Just kind of twirled in there. Little cartwheel. Sideways aerial cartwheel in there. I hope they add more of those. And I kind of hope that like each ascendancy gets its own dodge roll like animation, actually, so that you can differentiate between them. But the MTX is okay. It's fine. I'll just throw a hammer at that dude, I guess. Here we go. So the hammer is also on the 14-second cooldown for Fist of War 3. It's just so strong. I wonder if they'll nerf that or not on it, you know, in the next patch. Kind of hope they don't. It's nice having like just an attack to go to that's not necessarily on cooldown, but it's there to be stronger when you need it, you know, like when you're trying to use it situationally like that. I really like that design. Like that. Shattering palm that, and then fissure everything with a totem. Okay, so here's some more rares and stuff. Look, if I wanted to, I could rolling slam that guy, and he's gonna die just from the first hit even. He usually doesn't even make it to the second hit of rolling slam. That's how strong that is when their armor's broken. And with all those sockets I have in there and stuff, you know, it's just really cool. Here we go. See, that other rare just went down before I could even get to the second hit of rolling slam. the bosses, like if I do the whole rotation like that too, it's a one shot most of the time. We'll alch that. That rare went down just from my basic attack, shattering palm to basic attack. My, oh, he's gonna get me. Here we go. Whoa. He dodged it. We're super slow, but that's okay. I'm a little slower on my attacks than I was in the previous iteration of this build because I spec'd out of all the attack speed that I had in favor of way more defenses. Speaking of defenses, that hit really hard, whatever that was. So you can see how fast the energy shield charges once I have consecrated ground underneath me. It really does go up pretty quick, I think. And I don't have that much regen, really. Nice. That was a nice chain. Okay, shattering palm. Watch that whole thing explode. That's cool. Here's the abyss. There we go. Just took him out. Took that guy out in one hit too. Let's do the totems and the fissure. A little bit more range and clear. Yeah, so what I'm loving about this is that I just have so many abilities and ways of handling everything. I can like wave into them with this, or I could just like go like this and just let the totem and the fissure just break all their armor and armor explode everybody if it's a longer corridor or something. It's nice. Nice, another heavy belt. It's like an easy 30 exalts right there. All right, so there's my dude. That's kind of like a Templar in a way, using Zealot's Oath and Energy Shield and armor and being melee, throwing in some of the elements in there. We're doing fire and cold, and we do apply shock and stuff too, actually, and all that. But anyway, the way he looks too just looks very Templar-like, I think, you know. And especially with the gear that I'm wearing, the Divine Crown, the Grand Regalia, we've got Apostle leggings, Knightly mitts, double belt. Here's our Amethyst ring, here's our Unset ring, here's our huge defense amulet that allocates tempered defenses. Here's the quarterstaff, the lunar quarterstaff. And here's the one weapon here, and here's the other weapon here. And then here's our charms, flasks. All right. That's it. Thanks for watching. Can't wait for Templar and Druid to come into the game, dude. If you noticed, the last two builds that I showed that I made in this league, both of them are utilizing stuff that I think Druid is going to be really great for. Because I made a hybrid minion melee build with my Witch Hunter that uses all different types of defenses and stuff. And then on this guy, I'm utilizing, you know, paladin or Templar-like defenses with the warrior tree stuff, and I just can't wait for the strength int classes to come into the game. I don't know why I keep wanting to gravitate towards those, but I just do. And then I really enjoy just the look of this, like I said, and I'm really glad they fixed armor so that Druid and Templar aren't dead on arrival. And I'm really glad that I made videos complaining about it before. So, all right, see you later.